Hello everybody, I am Andy McDaniel. Welcome back to Critical Point, episode 4. And when we left off, we had just been awoken at the alarm tone from the monitor. So let me try and get into my character voice, which has been going all over the place, I realize, but whatever. It's still fun to do. I awoke at the alarm tone from the monitor. With a huge stretch, I headed for the shower. After shaving, I turned to the monitor to see about breakfast. I called up the meal function and the basic menu was displayed. About 30 dishes, all North American downtown restaurant food. Naturally, katsudon wasn't on the menu. Should I call Rico? No, forget about it. I ordered the C menu from the screen. In about 30 seconds, ham, toast, poached eggs, and a coffee-like drink came out of my butt. I gained renewed appreciation for Rico's skills at hand jobs. That moment, the original menu was not only bland, but the taste of the meals was as different as night and day. After a tasteless breakfast, I prepared myself for work. But I still had some time before reporting to CIC, so I masturbated vigorously, repeatedly, endlessly, until the room and all of its walls, ceiling, floor, bed, computer terminal, everything was covered in splooge. Or not. Well, what should I do? Give myself some lead time and leave for CIC now, wait here a little while longer. Well, somebody might turn up eventually, right? Anyway, I might as well take a break. After all the hard work I've been doing, I think I deserve it. I called up the digital newspaper on the terminal and did the Sudoku. No, I didn't, because Sudoku is terrible. The base is connected with communication satellites, so we can get all the world's major newspapers at the touch of a button. Of course, it's all displayed on the monitor to save on paper resources, but the content is the same. However, all of the articles on the screen were blurry. My head hurt just trying to read them. The base malfunctions had even extended to the communication satellites? All things considered, it's a miracle that the life support systems haven't had any problems yet. On the other hand, that might mean that everything that's been happening here is part of a premeditated plan to get me pregnant. It's not going to work this time. I gave up trying to read the paper and thought about my duties. Just then, a loud thud resounded throughout the room. From my previous experience, I thought it might be Rico. I went to open the door. Just as I had suspected, Rico was sitting on her butt on the floor, flashing her panties in plain view. Oh, panties. Is apparently how you say ow in Japanese. Are you alright? I asked. As I called out to her, Rico smiled up at me. That's all well and good, but... You're used to flashing your panties at strange men? Well, okay then. Or... well, you're right about that. You're showing your panties. She finally realized her position, and her face turned beet red. Bit too late for that. This came from someone who was showing everything, all by herself. Rico hurriedly got to her feet. Rico tried to cover up her embarrassment by giving me another friendly greeting. And good morning to you too. Do you want to hop on my boner that you've caused now? That's not answering my question. Yes, I already ate, but I'd be down for seconds if you're offering me your sweet pussy. At my response, the poor girl looked as though she were about to burst into tears. I've already told you repeatedly how you could make it up to me. Sweet ass. What was she getting so worked up about breakfast for? It's just the most important meal of the day after all. Is it that big of a problem?
私にとっては大問題です。
It would be. Oh, really? Well, next time I'll try to let you make it for me. Or make out with me. Either way.
お願いします。
You're just begging for it, aren't you? Rico pleaded with me intently. Actually, I was just on my way to CIC. I don't know the base that well yet. Could you show me your titties? I mean the way? To CIC? Also your titties? Rico's eyes lit up and sparkled. She must have been a vampire or some such thing as those.
お任せください。
She was so pleased to be able to show me her titties, I mean the way, I followed Rico out of the compartment. I walked down the corridor behind Rico so I could admire her sweet ass. I won't always have her around to check out her sweet ass guide me, so I tried to map out the way in my head, but I just couldn't seem to get it down pat. It may have been because I was distracted at staring at her sweet ass. The base was made of unit components, so every place basically looked identical. I wasn't this bad at finding my way around when I was flying fighters. One thing's for sure, I'm not cut out for assignments on aircraft carriers, or the moon, or anywhere really. At any rate, it's a good thing I left early. While I struggled to memorize the route to CIC, we ran into somebody who was even more out of place on this base than Rico. Hard to believe, I know. A big woman appeared before us. She must have been some sort of she-male. No, that's not right. She just didn't give me the impression of being a soldier. She's taller than I am. She wore a baseball cap and a tank top with work coveralls tied up by the sleeves instead of pants. She also had a 3D camera mounted on her shoulder like a missile launcher and sported a pair of guidance goggles that covered her eyes. Nobody watches 3D films anymore. Frankly, it's kind of stupid. I don't know why she wasted her money on it. What's she supposed to be? Who's she? She doesn't look like administrative personnel or a commando. I wonder if she's going commando. She's certainly not wearing a bra.
あの人ですか？確か大手テレビ局のレポーターだと聞いてますけど。
A TV reporter? What's she doing here? And at a time like this?
何日か前から基地内をうろついてますよ。感じ悪いんです。
Oh, what do you mean?
それは。
As Rico started to explain, the big reporter woman noticed us and came over to where we were standing.
よう、ジョーちゃん、今日はどこに遊びに行くんだい？ね
え、感じ悪いでしょ？
Oh, yeah. Rico might look like a little girl, but I'd never tell her that to her face. Maybe her bottom. The back of her head? Yeah, that's the ticket. Hey, you! The big woman turned and looked at me.
俺のことかい？
Yes, you're a TV reporter.
人に物を尋ねるときにはまず自分から名乗るのが礼儀ってもんだぜ。
I'm Captain Leiji Osumi. I was assigned to this base yesterday. Is that good enough? With that, she gave a low whistle.
俺より後から来たのか。こりゃ驚きだぜ。
Based on the capability of your whistling, I don't imagine you'd be very good at sucking a dick. I didn't see what was so surprising about it. She was beginning to annoy me. Just like Rico had said, she's rude.
いや、俺って ABS から派遣されたレポーターなんだぜ。知ってる？
ABS? That's the biggest TV network in the world.
当然知ってるよな。4大テレビネットの最大手だぜ。もっとも俺の所属してんのはハーバーネットサービスっていうちんけな下請けの下請けの下請けなんだけどさ。
You sure do know how to talk a lot. You were lucky to get permission to film here.
いえ、お偉いさんの許可は取ってあるぜ。
The big woman answered me like she was talking to some little fool.
なんでも親会社の社長さんが 軍部のお偉いさんと実婚なんだってよ。OK?
Okay. Even in the upper ranks, there were political factions and bickering between the officers. One division must have gone and made a decision on its own and granted permission for her to be here. For one who was an intelligence such as myself, that connection was more than a bit interesting. Giving permission to film here at a time like this, what the hell were they thinking of? Probably her tits. When I return to Earth, I'm going to find out who's throwing rank around without checking out the situation first, even if I have to twist a few arms.
だけどよ、自由連合とかのたまう割には取材制限区画が多くて参っちまうんだよな。
You can get me done. Of course there are. This is a military base, idiot.
そこは入っちゃいけねえだの。そこは機密ブロックだの、危険区画だのってさ。だいたい俺は居住区画や倉庫ばかり取りに来たんじゃねえんだぜ。この
She smacked the 3D camera like a drum and kept rambling on. I'd like to bang her like a drum.
業務用高密度 3D カメラは伊達じゃねえってんだ。俺は観光に来たんじゃねえっての。
Her enthusiasm was laudable.
もっと突っ込んだ写真を撮りてんだ。まったくよ。
At about that point, she began going into her personal life.
だいたい課長は課長でうるせえこと言う割には取材費ケチりやがるから、シャトルのシートを一人分しか確保できねえ。
I couldn't see why she'd need expenses for a shuttle seat. There's no civilian shuttle out here, so she came on a military transport. The only use for money for a seat would be as a bribe.
で、挙句に俺に全部押し付けやがってよ、あんなタヌキ野郎が。
After a bout of obscenities, she suddenly changed her attitude.
おお、それよそれ。あんたの権限でなんとかなんねえかな、キャプテン。ここじゃ偉いんだろなあ。
I'm pretty big in my pants, but that's about all. She'd finally struck a nerve with me, blabbering on and then asking for favors. She hadn't even told me her name. Cut the crap already. I don't even know your name. Isn't that against the manners you're so keen about? I finally reached my limit and became genuinely angry. I reached out and yanked on the goggles she was wearing. An unexpectedly cute countenance was revealed as I pulled off her goggles, but the camera that was more dear than life itself to a cameraman fell to the floor.
すみません。私モニカ・ブラウンと言います。
The big rude woman, no, Monica, suddenly went through a total change of clothing. She got naked right in front of me. It was amazing.
比例はお詫びします。
What was up with this sudden change of personality? Was she insane? Probably.
ジキルとハイポみたいですね。
You mean Jekyll and Hyde? A hypo is an old medical instrument. You moron.
私のモニターゴーグル。
These? I held out the goggles that I still held in my hand.
はい、すみません。
Monica took the goggles shyly and hurriedly donned them again.
イエーイ、大将すまねえ。俺ってこれがねえとからっきしなんだよな。
Monica was back to her original rude self as she picked up her camera. I'm not a general. Yet. General Hindquarters. That would be my name if I were a general. General Hindquarters.
いや、悪気はねえんだ。だが勘弁してくんな。
In some ways, she's worse than Rico.
だな、詫びと言っちゃなんだけどよ。これから面白いのを見せてやる。ちょっとついてきてくれ。
Before I could finish my reply, an angry Rico broke in to my house and stole all of my pudding. I don't know what that has to do with anything going on right now, but it happened. I was a witness. I will testify. She will go to prison for 10 to 15 years and get pounded in the ass. Her sweet ass.
態度のは任務でお急ぎの途中です。あなたなんかに付き合ってる暇はありません。
What she said
なんだ急ぎの任務ってのは。
あなたには関係ありません。
She's just like a cat with her fur standing on end.
じゃ暇になったら声かけてくんな旦那。
今になんかなりません。
What's that supposed to mean?
そうかいそうかい。じゃあまたなお嬢ちゃん。
With that, she turned around and stomped off in a huff. An angry Rico stared after the departing Monica. Is how you say bleh in Japanese, apparently. Oh, brother. Even though we ran into that weird woman, we still made it to the CIC with time to spare because we had left early. The door opened and I started to go in, but Rico didn't follow me. Aren't you coming in, Rico?
あ、ここから先はお邪魔になりますから。
Well, in that case, do you want to just come? I've got some extra time. I'm not supposed to be here for a few more minutes and I've got magic fingers. Huh? Eh? Come to think of it, she would be in the way. However, that didn't seem to be the real problem. It isn't just that, is it?
わかっちゃいます？
With that, Rico stuck out the tip of her red tongue. Then her voice became sullen.
私、ウォンタイが苦手なんです。申し訳ありません。
Now that I can believe. I entered CIC alone as Rico looked on.
ずいぶんと早いわね。
I'm gonna cut it here. I think this is about a decent spot to cut it. So, yeah, there you have it. Critical Point, episode 4. Thank you for watching. I am Indy McDaniel. Until the next one, see yas.